create amazing 3D landscapes in real time. Easily. Or at least, kinda easily. Hey and welcome to this new series, Unreal and FX. Yeah, the name sucks. I'm someone who knows their way around Adobe After Effects, and over the years I've used 3D programs a bit too. The trouble with 3D software is it requires a whole different set of skills to compositing, and when you have something that you think looks great, you hit render, you wait several hours, and discover it looks awful when animated. I don't find it a rewarding process. So when The Mandalorian premiered and all those videos dropped about how they used Unreal Engine to create their landscapes in the volume, it seemed like a VFX's dream. Here's this program capable of adjustments in real time that is packed with textures and models ready to use. And it is all of those things, but it's also not a compositor, nor is it a 3D model creator. Even experienced professional VFX artists struggle to adapt to the way Unreal works. These clips from Andy Axe's video on the future of filmmaking sums up that team's experience.
I have quite a bit of experience from other 3D software such as Blender or Cinema 4D, so I thought Unreal should be doable. However, Unreal is the least intuitive program I think I've ever used, so I kind of just wanted to give up.
Need a hand?
That was William Forter at the end there. He has been sharing Unreal tutorials on his channel for years and is arguably the definitive series for getting going. But if that is the case, why am I making these videos and not just telling you to watch his? The truth is, every video, every tutorial I've ever seen on Unreal either assumes you know the basics or that you're wanting to learn the basics of game making. I couldn't find any videos explaining what is going on from a VFX artist's perspective. I have a bit of experience with the very similar interface of Unity, so I decided to learn Unreal after my series on learning Blender was well received. Just before we start, there's one concept at the heart of Unreal that when you understand it means that the whole process, the whole interface, should make a lot more sense. Unreal is a game creator and games rely on reusing assets. When you're playing a game and you see a rock or a poster on a wall or an NPC, you will see the same model, texture or character again, often repeatedly. That just makes sense from a game designer's perspective. So Unreal at its heart is an asset manager. We will create a project, create or import assets, use nodes to allow for those same assets to be used in different ways, and all files for the project will be copied into the project's folders. You won't easily be able to have some files off on OneDrive or others elsewhere. If that doesn't make sense to you, then I'm not sure I have another way to explain it, but it is a bit like having File Explorer embedded inside After Effects. One last thing to mention, that I promise we'll get on. Unreal Engine is free to use. Despite rumblings about costs, if you're using Unreal for games that make less than $1 million, or if you're using Unreal to make films or other linear content, i.e. videos, then it is free as well. I'm not a legal expert. Epic Games is a private company, and so this is subject to change of course. If in doubt, read both the EULA and FAQs for yourself. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is sign up for an Epic Games account by visiting unrealengine.com. Then hit the download button. The installer will download automatically, or you can hit this link. It is worth double checking the minimum requirements. Back in 2001 I tried on my old PC and it crashed bigly. Oh, if you don't sign up before downloading, you have to do so during the install process. It is as painless or painful as any other freemium sign up. Once installed, Epic Games Launcher opens. So next, you have to install the engine. I recorded the process a few months back as I was doing it for the first time, but other than a newer version number, it should all be very similar. So when you click install, it takes you to the library. If you click away from this tab, it's the link in Unreal Engine then library you want to use to get back there. Now we choose which version of the engine to install. If this is similar to Unity, you can end up with multiple engines in the library. This is a bit like having multiple versions of After Effects installed. Future engines might not work correctly with older projects, so this way it makes it more obvious what you're looking at. As you can see, I thoroughly read the EULA, definitely do as I say, not as I do. Then I'm prompted for where to install both the program and project folders. Here's me completely lost, trying to get back to the installer screen, and you thought I was being patronising about the library tab. You'll see at the bottom there's also Quixel Bridge. This is the library of resources you'll use to create your landscapes, and all those assets are free for use within Unreal Engine. I know you can download them then use them within other programs, but that use is not covered by the Quixel license. Once everything is installed, it's time to launch Unreal Engine. And when you do, you'll be prompted to pick a starter project. A lot of tutorials I found suggesting with the blank project in video production. But this will be a mistake, as will be selecting any of the video production projects when you're still learning. The blank project here is exactly as it says. You can add landscapes and suns, etc. But the scale is off. My wife and I tried this and it looked great until we came to texture it. Instead, I chose the games category and this blank project. Don't double click it just yet. Instead, select where the project will be installed and give it a name without spaces. The software won't let you use spaces anyway. This is a games thing. Remember, assets are linked in code, which you don't need to use, and software compilers struggle with spaces. So objects or materials you make can't have spaces. You can use underscores though. Unreal Engine now opens on your scene. You can use your mouse to move around. I've put a link in the description to documentation showing how to move around, or you can just Google Unreal Viewport Controls. Everything seems sluggish, but it's not really. The landscape is massive. You're looking down on an entire island, golf course, small mountain range. Eventually you'll get tired of trying to zoom. This is my fix. Go to the Get Content menu, open Shapes, select Cube. You see this property panel? It's similar to the one in Blender and will update based on the object you've selected either in the project panel, which is called the outliner for some bizarre reason, or directly in the viewport. So with that selected, in location, set all the values to 0, then tap F to find the cube. And there, we're now at object level. And you can see how truly massive this landscape is. Okay, I could leave this here, but that would suck as you've not got a way to do anything. So instead, leave Unreal Editor and return to your browser. And go to Quixel.com and click Sign In. Then use the option to sign in with Epic Games. Even though Quixel is part of the same family, it is a separate product. If you don't do this step and jump straight into Quixel Bridge from the menu option in Unreal, you get an error message on attempting to download, even if you sign up inside the Bridge application. And the reason you get an error is that you need to pick which license you want from Quixel. For me, I went to the pricing range, and then selected Begin for Free. And it was that simple, but without that step, you'll be stuck. Anyway, once you've done that, you can go back to Unreal Engine, and in the Get Content menu, just select Quixel Bridge, and this application opens inside Unreal Engine. The next steps are up to you, but you can see how intuitive it is. You can favorite different models, download them, and they are truly impressive. There's a great promo video showing how the Megascans team rock up to a location and scan and photograph pretty much everything. The fact that this is all free to use is a very smart bit of marketing. Why would you ever use a rival product that isn't packed with all this library content? Unity has been slated recently for their new charging model, and while that software does have a large community base, Mrs. Cactus and I really struggled with the assets and tutorials not being usable in the latest version of the Unity engine. It seems that tool undergoes massive changes. I've not been using Unreal that long, but so far any imported asset just works. Plus, Quixel Megascans is a cool name. Models you've already downloaded can be imported to this project from the local folder. And when you're done, close Quixels, and here they are. Open the folders and drag the model looking item into the viewport. That will probably be labelled Static Mesh. These tools at the top allow you to move, scale and rotate the objects. To texture the landscape, select the landscape group in the outliner panel, and then in the Properties panel, scroll down until you can see Landscape Material. With the texture folder open in the Content Browser panel, drag the spherical material instance into the Landscape panel. And that's probably enough for the first video. I don't know about you, but my brain is hurting. Speaking of brain hurting though, I do have to warn you, for some odd, presumably games related reason, the X is the horizontal axis, Y is the depth, and Z values control the height or vertical. I have no idea why. But all is forgiven if you expand the lighting folder and play with the directional lighting rotation values. How quick, how easy, or instant golden hour is that? In the next few videos on this topic, I'll talk you through sculpting a landscape, how to add hundreds or thousands of plants or rocks. We'll also look at adding a camera and rendering. And I'll take a diversion to rant about making your own sky map.